This is an advanced video on what to eat before your workout for maximum calisthenic gains. It is currently 5:30 a.m. I have been up since 3. I have been researching for the program that I am making. It's like a creative mode protocol. It's like first link in the description. I've been researching for that protocol exactly what to do pre-workout for a balance between sports performance and also calisthenics gains. It's completely free if you join it once it releases, and you can be in there, or it's already out by now because this video is going to stay on my channel forever. Basically, everybody knows the simple stuff. Everybody knows eat a little bit of carbs, maybe keep the fats somewhat down, get some protein in before your workout. Everybody understands that. The main principles are just don't be hungry, don't be too full, eat some carbs, eat some protein, not too much, but eat a little bit, and try and limit the fats as much as possible. It's a lot more complicated than that, though, and there are a couple things you can do to really optimize that I want to explain to you here. So, first thing, when it comes to your carb consumption, essentially what carbs are what they're used for is they're turned into glycogen. And this glycogen is stored in your muscles, which allow you to perform in your sport. It's basically like the energy system for your muscles, one of them, but it's essentially the main one. On a basic level, you have fast digesting carbs and you have slow digesting carbs. It doesn't really matter which one you eat, but it does matter the timing, and that's what a lot of people get wrong. Slow digesting carbs will take an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours in order to fully enter your muscles as glycogen. Fast digesting carbs, something like, I don't know, Rice Krispies, rice cakes, something like that, certain types of cereal. Obviously, I'm not recommending that, but I'm just giving examples off the top of my head. Certain things like that can take 30 minutes, 60 minutes, something along those lines in order to get into your muscles as glycogen for you to be able to perform at your best. You can check if a carb is slow digesting or fast digesting by looking up this. Look up its glycemic index. Look up, just put in the food that you're thinking of. Let's say you normally have like white rice before a workout here. I'll even do this with you. White rice glycemic index. White rice is typically between 70 and 80. That means it would be considered as a fast digesting carb. How you can tell the difference is, I'm looking at my notes here. The difference is anything 70 or higher is considered fast digesting. This is like 30 minutes, an hour, maybe like probably closer like 45 minutes an hour for most of these. If it's 70 or higher, and the glycemic index is just basically the higher the number, the faster it gets into your bloodstream and the faster it gets converted to glycogen in this context. Those are considered fast digesting. Anything below 55 is considered slow digesting. This is when it would take an hour and a half, 2 hours, sometimes even 3 hours if it's below 55. And it's slow in the sense that it doesn't really matter what it is that you ate, but you will have to wait longer if you want the full effects. Anything in the middle, anything between 70 and 55 is considered like medium. So this might take like an hour, hour and a half, something like that. Again, it's kind of not intuitive because obviously there is a specific there's a specific time frame that it goes into the muscle and it can be used as energy. But if it's below 70 and 55, probably like an hour, hour and a half. Anything above 70, probably like 30 minutes an hour. And then anything below 55, probably like an hour and a half plus, depending on what it is. The thing is, the type of carb doesn't matter a ton when it comes to what it gets put into your muscle as, just the timing does. And this doesn't mean eat crap cereal, because it has other things in it that's going to let you crash, make you feel sluggish. A lot of these cereals and a lot of these other like junk food carb options have a lot of fat in them, which is very bad post-workout, especially if your goal is calisthenics, because you don't want to feel heavy at all. That's like your worst enemy. Like, you're doing body weight training. Can you imagine feeling like you gain like another 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds? It's like a week's worth of training and progression. You're going to lose like 1 or 2 reps just from the feeling of it, because you're not going to have the same level of like lightness when you get into your training. What else? The amount that you need to eat. So we went over, if it's 70 or higher, then 30 to 60 minutes. If it's 55 or below on the glycemic index, then it is probably like an hour and a half or longer in order to get to that point. What about the amount? Essentially, I'm going to be basing this on timing and not so much body weight. If You're eating your carb, and this applies to the glycemic index and all this kind of stuff. You're gonna have to kind of like piece together what I mean here, because you're gonna have to know what I was talking about before in order for this to make sense, essentially. So if you skipped this part, completely fine. But if you don't already like know what I was talking about before, then it might be a little bit difficult to understand. Essentially, if you plan to work out in 30 to 60 minutes, eating 0.5 to 1 gram of carbs per kilogram of body weight is optimal. If you plan to work out 1 to 2 hours, 1.5 to 2 hours before, or you eat 1 to 2, or geez, you eat and you plan to work out in 1.5 to 2 hours from your workout. Aim for roughly 1 to 2 grams per kilogram of body weight. And then anything longer, anything like 2.5, 3 hours plus, eat 2 to 3 grams per kilogram of body weight. This is best done. I did a ton of research on this, talked to ChatGPT a ton, looked at like a bunch of articles online and things. This is just what's best. These are the notes that I have, and that's all you have to know for carbohydrates. When it comes to proteins, calisthenics mostly specifically, eating protein before your workout can prevent muscle breakdown. Essentially, what happens is your body doesn't really care to store muscle a ton. And when you go to sleep, after I think it's like an 8 to 12 hour period, probably close to like 6 or 8, I think I saw, or I think I've heard, essentially your body starts breaking down your muscles. And it's not major at all. It's very, 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 very tiny amounts. But if it's breaking down, it's not growing. So what you can do is you can counteract this just by simply eating 15, 30 grams of protein, maybe even a little bit less. Some cases, if you're like a really big guy, like 100 kilos plus, and like you're fairly lean, maybe a little bit more. But in short, just aim for 15 to 30 grams of protein. Should be fairly simple. Slower digesting proteins like casein, if you eat that or you drink that, in most cases you can get like the powders or whatever to put in your shaker bottle. If you eat casein, or consume casein I should say, it has it's much more slow digesting, so it's going to stay in your system longer and it's going to prevent the breakdown longer. This is something that you can do before you go to bed, because while you sleep, obviously time is going by and then the breakdown might start like around the time you wake up. And if you don't plan on eating for a few hours, or you don't plan on eating for a little bit or whatever, or you just don't want to risk like the small amount of breakdown, just to keep it as optimal as possible, like it's not hard to chug like a small scoop of casein before bed. Also, casein has been shown in studies to indirectly help with sleep. So it gives you like specific amino acids, and it helps you release specific hormones, and it relaxes you because it leaves you full before bed, but it's not like the wrong type of full. It's like it's very filling. Casein is used for meal replacements types of proteins a lot. So you have whey, for example, which is very fast digesting. That's like if you're trying to mass, if you're just like drinking something intro workout or post workout, whatever. Casein is very filling, so you would have it like if you're trying to lose weight, or if you don't plan on eating for a while. That's a meal replacement. Casein is very good for keeping you satiated for a long period of time, which essentially just means keeping you full. It does seem to help with sleep indirectly from the studies I've seen and the people I've heard talk about it and all that kind of stuff. So if that's something that you want to try, go ahead. Next thing, that's everything for protein. Fats. Avoid these pre-workout. Unless you're like a professional athlete, you're a professional skills athlete, training with a ton of fat in your system probably isn't a good idea. If your training is longer than like 2 3 hours, maybe having a little bit of fat, or just having like another very fast digesting carb shake in between your workout, like an hour into your workout, whatever, that also could probably have the same effect, maybe a little bit better, I'd imagine. But fat's not super important. The thing is, they make you feel slow, they make you feel groggy, and they make you feel heavy, which is very bad for body weight training. It's okay, again, for longer workouts, 2 3 hours plus, 4 hours plus, but you could replace it with some kind of carb shake. You could replace it with some type of like sugar. This is why you see power lifters in the middle of their workout. There's always a meme of them having like Sour Patch Kids, because they're very fast digesting carbs. They get into the bloodstream quickly. They turn into glycogen very quickly, so it allows them to continue pushing hard for long periods of time. In conclusion, eat low fat, high carbs, some proteins in your pre workout meal. Try to time the meal anywhere from 1 to 2 hours, sometimes even 3 in some cases if it's like a very slow digesting carb, or you plan on eating a lot of carbs before your workout. 1, 2 to 3 hours before your workout is optimal in most cases, and don't binge eat. There's been studies that basically have three groups of people. All of them are like somewhat trained, I believe, and they're testing their strength endurance in those studies. So it's like how many sets of 10 can you do on squats, I think it was. What they did, they gave one group of people like some porridgey kind of like oatmeal substance, had nothing in it. It was completely like 0 calories, zero nutrient, whatever. It was just to make the person full. It was just to give them something to eat before the workout. They had them wait like an hour, hour and a half, something like that. They gave another group the same porridgey substance, but they put carbohydrates in it. It tasted the same. It filled them up the same, whatever. It just had an extra bit of carbs to help fuel them, refuel the glycogen stores. Third group didn't eat anything. The two groups who had the carbs and the group that ate before had very, very similar results when it came to their strength endurance. The group that didn't eat anything had the worst performance by far, and what happened was their strength was good, it was even, and then it dropped off very quickly. And I'm sure if you've been around fitness for a while, you haven't eaten before a workout or something like that, or maybe you ate something a bit poor or whatever, you've experienced that. And I wouldn't go as far as saying you don't need any carbs before a workout. I think it's better to have them than to not. Just like I was talking about with the eating a little bit of protein, it's probably a little bit better to have it versus not, but it's like a 5-10% difference. It's not a huge deal, but it is a deal that you could be focused on and something that could improve your training long term. Essentially, eat low fat, high carb, a little bit of protein. Try and get fast digesting carbs if you are training shortly and a little bit of time. Slow digesting carbs if you're eating 2-3 hours away from when you eat originally. Don't binge eat. Don't be overly full, overly bloated. That's also very bad. And just try and not be hungry. That's probably the number one thing. Again, anything past that, calories don't really matter. Macros specifically are important, but the ones I listed out before is all you need to worry about. That has been everything. My name has been Brandon. If you're interested in calisthenics training and you want to get so strong that you're able to pull over the bar so quickly in calisthenics, doing very explosive muscle ups, front levers, planche. I'm currently training planche. That's going very, very well. I promise I'm going to be able to learn in like 2, 3, maybe 4 months. Then you can go, link in the description, join the Creative Mode Protocol group. That'll be releasing shortly, or it's already out. My name has been Brandon. Keep doing the best at doing your best. Trust God. Signing off.